look out there. I'm trying to stay out of y'all's way.
Why do you not want to look out there?
Look out there.
Oh, why do I not want to look out there? I mean, there's a lot of people that get that. Is that why?
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't like this, guys.
Every time. Turn my phone off.
Just act like one person is watching.
It's a bad time to say I have stage fright.
Smile. Oh. Snapchat. Did you know if you put tape over your camera, you can
Okay, so are you gonna read off that one or this one?
Both. I'll read this one for the first side, and then this for the second side.
Okay, right there then.
if you put tape over your phone's camera and
Right, you read that one.
if you grab
use your right hand, why don't you just read
colored
that one?
markers and you color like corners like blue, yellow, purple,
like a little
red, and then you do
Double chin.
then you do all purple.
Double chin.
Are you listening?
My foot
And you do all purple and rainbow corners and rainbow corners.
I just said I don't have things.
And
Oh, I
you
just
take a picture. It looks rainbow. It's really sick.
I'm not ready. They can hear us through the mic.
Now.
Wait.
I don't know.
Oh, it's on. It's on. It's on. Hey. Coco.
Don't mess up my hair. That's so rude. It's really nice. You don't want Billie Eilish? Hey, everybody. Am I about to introduce you to Billie Eilish?
Is it on? Ow.
I'll show
The
you.
nose hurts. Look, feel that nose. It's on.
Test.
It's not.
It's like little singing. That's weird. That is weird,
You
though.
want us to have like a rubber band?
It's the Squid Game song that the doll sings.
Oh, I love Squid Game. Y'all actually watch Squid Game?
No, I'm not.
I've seen it.
Do you?
I've seen it.
I watched the few first episodes, and I wish I didn't watch it.
Oh,
Those poor Koreans.
those what?
It's
Poor
Chinese.
Koreans. Those poor Koreans. It's Korean.
No, it's not either.
Are they Korean or are they
Yes.
Chinese? Korean.
They're Chinese.
When red light, green light.
Red light, green light is probably the hardest
I'm better.
game.
Cool, I'm better.
Red light, green light's probably the hardest Squid Games game.
I
No, it
love
ain't.
Squid Game. Like, how could you
No, it
stop
ain't.
watching it? Why?
Stop! You're gonna mess up my gun again.
What?
I like Dory's.
Stop!
You like what?
Y'all hear Riley?
I don't know who that is. I am so sorry.
Do what?
What do you guys? Touching.
Everything.
What did they say?
Maria, could you stop it?
But stop it.
Everybody just shut up. Everybody just shut up. Please.
Why you looking at me like that?
Why are you looking at me like that? You
What
look
do
at
you
me
mean?
first.
Looking at you like I usually look.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you don't know what stuff means.
Not,
Ooh, you don't know what stuff means, is what he said.
yeah.
I don't know what that means, though. Stop your pockets.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Jacksonburg's 2025 VBS. Are y'all ready to have some fun tonight?
Yeah.
So, the church here wants me to get as wild as possible. Are y'all ready to get wild? Are you ready to get loud? Great. Well, we're going to start out by singing a song. Jesus is a friend next to you.
Oops.
Do y'all know that song? Well, you're going to know it by the end of it. It goes like this. Are you ready? Jesus is a friend next to you. Jesus is a friend, so sing along. Jesus is a friend next to you. Jesus is a friend, so sing. Stand up, everybody. Let's stand up. Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Shake someone's someone's hand, shake a hand next to you, shake someone's hand and sing along. Shake someone's hand, shake a hand next to you, shake someone's hand and sing along. Sing along. Give someone a hug, give a hug next to you. Give someone a hug and sing along. Give someone a hug, sing a hug next to you. Give someone a hug and sing. Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. High five someone next to you. Come on, high five. Hallelujah. Because we're only going to be here for like 10 minutes. Yeah, you got to keep standing up. It's only 10 minutes. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We'll be here longer than that. Okay, does anybody know what the theme of our VBS is? I can give you a hint. It's untangled. And we are going to untangle God's plan for us. And so we've got a jungle that's around us. Do y'all see all the flowers and the animals that are around us? And so my name is Brother Laws, and I am going to be your jungle host, your jungle guide for the week. So are y'all excited about that? And so in your rooms, you're going to be in little jungle rooms, and you're going to learn all about God and what He's done. And tonight, we're going to learn about how God is our great creator and what all He's created. So a part of that, I want us to sing Blue Skies and Rainbows. Do y'all know that song? No. Good. All right. Blue skies and rainbows and sunbeams from heaven are what I can see. When my Lord is living in me, I know that Jesus is well and alive today. He makes His home in my heart. Nevermore will I leave you all alone, set sea. Promise me that we never would part. Tall mountains, great valleys, the beauty that surrounds me, all make me aware of the one who made it all. I know that Jesus is well and alive today. He makes His home in my heart. Nevermore will I leave you all alone, set sea. Promise me that we never would part. Great job. Y'all know what time it is? What time is it? I think you know what time is it. I think we got to get out our lights.
What?
Everybody got a light? Come on, everybody's got a light around here. Everybody got your light? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine, oh yeah. I'm all wrapped up, all tied up, all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, all tied up, all tangled up in God. I'm all wrapped up, all tied up, all tangled up in Jesus. I'm all wrapped up, tied up, tangled up with God. a helper. Who wants to volunteer? Ooh, you are the lucky winner. And what is your name? Lila. Everybody give Lila a round of applause tonight. Okay. We have to get out our chariots. Roll the chariots. Y'all ready to roll the gospel chariot along? Do you know this one? You know how to do this? All right. Can everybody do this? Let's see how fast you can get it. Woo! That's right. We're going to tire you out. All right, here we go. Roll the gospel chariot along, beep, beep. Roll the gospel chariot along, beep, beep. Roll the gospel chariot along, and we won't tag along behind. If your brother's in the way, we will stop and pick him up. If your brother's in the way, we will stop and pick him up. If the devil's in the way, we will stop and pick him up. And we won't tag along behind. If our sister's in the way, we will stop and pick her up. If our sister's in the way, we will stop and pick her up. If our sister's in the way, we will stop and pick her up. And we won't tag along behind. Okay, here's the one. If the devil's in the way, we will run right over him. If the devil's in the way, we will run right over him. If the devil's in the way, we will run right over him. And we won't tag along behind. Thank you, Miss Lila. All right, you can have a seat. Thank you for singing along. And now we have a very special presentation. We have some extra friends that have come to Jacksonburg to help us out. Would y'all give it up for our friends?
Guys, come on, stay with me now.
What's wrong, Rylan? You seem kind of nervous.
You're shaking. Are you cold?
It's the middle of summer. It's been 95 degrees today. Of course I'm not cold.
Well, then what's wrong?
Look around. I think we're lost. Really lost.
Please don't say that.
How can we be lost? You said you knew the way.
Calm down, everyone. Just calm down.
Calm down. How can we calm down? We're lost.
We must have taken a wrong path somewhere.
It looks like we're in the middle of a jungle.
I didn't even know we had jungles in Alabama.
We're doomed. I'll never get to see my parents or little sister ever again.
Oh, stop with the drama, Coy. Rylan will get us out of here. Right, Rylan?
Sure, maybe. I hope so.
Oh, look, a sweet kitty cat. What a sweet little kitty. I wonder what he's doing out here in the jungle.
Riverbell, I don't want to freak you out, but that's not a sweet little kitty cat.
Everybody, stay still. We know sun moves.
We're doomed. I'm really never going to see my parents or little sister ever again.
Coy, I thought you didn't like your little sister.
That's right, Coy. You're always talking about how she gets on your nerves.
Well, she does get on my nerves, but she's the only sister I have.
Sweet kitty kitty, I'm going to take you home and feed you and cuddle you and let you sleep in my bed every night.
Riverbell, I'm telling you, that is not a cat.
Woo!
Ah! Stop yelling. You're upsetting him. He's probably not used to loud noises.
Not used to loud noises. He lives in the jungle.
He just made a loud noise.
He is the master of loud noises.
He's the king of the jungle.
Oh, I like that. That's what I'll name him, Little King. Little King, would you like a snack?
No!
Woo!
I've got to get us out of here before we all become kitty chow.
I don't want to get eaten by a lion.
That sure isn't on my bucket list.
Rylan, please, which way do we go?
Well, let me think. First we went north, then we went east, then we went south, then we went to the left, then I don't know where you are.
We can't just stay here. Little King is going to get hungry sometime.
Just in case, does anyone have any food in their pockets that we shall stall him with?
I've got a little Debbie oatmeal pie.
I don't know if that'll work, but I'm pretty sure Little King is a meat eater.
I've got an airhead.
That sure won't work if an oatmeal cream pie won't work.
I've got gum.
Oh no, we really don't have anything that he'll like. We've got to get out of here.
Here. Oh, Aw, look, he's so sweet. He's taking a nap.
It's the perfect time to sneak away while he's napping.
Let's just slowly start walking in that direction.
But we don't know where we're going.
Anywhere is better than staying here and becoming kitten kibble.
I agree. Lead the way, Rylan.
Let's go, everyone. Stay together, slowly and quietly follow me.
Come on, little kitty, you're going with us.
All right. So y'all be careful. There's some lions walking around here, some little cats. Okay, I do have the verse that I want to share with you, our theme verse. See if we can get that up on our overhead. And we're going to say this verse together. It's from Jeremiah 29, verse number 11. See if we can do this. I think we can. Maybe at the end, yeah. Okay, so we're going to dismiss to our classes, and we're going to start with our youngest first. So let's go ahead and start with our babies and toddlers and go to class at this time. Wherever. All right, and then, yes, y'all go ahead.
This is my tradition right here. It's from last year. Grant, I dare you to roar. Do the roar. Roar, do it.
Ooh, yeah.
Do it. It's. Just my pants.
All right, for our big kids, we have Brother Mike Hayes that's going to be teaching this class. We have had almost all the Hayes family present here at Jacksonburg last year. Brennan, Mike's grandson, came out and preached for us a few months ago, and I think he's going into the 9th grade, and he did a great job. So he really has a big act to follow with Brennan. He did a great job. And then also, Miss Lori Tays, Vice President Marcel, came and presented to her ladies. And now we've got the patriarch, Mike Tays, to present tonight and for our whole week here at VBS. So come on up, Mike, and take over. And if you want to do one of those songs, you can do one of those songs too. Or not. Or not, or not. Last time I was here, it didn't have that.
building up the suspense. This is sorry. We'll get everything all lined up here. Okay, did you hear me? Is it over the, not yet. Austin, what button you push? Sorry. Push that button on before.
That's all.
All right. Now we're good. Now we're doing. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I love coming out here. I did the teenagers 2 or 3 times, and I've done the adults in here a couple of times. I've done the auditorium class at church for a long time, 30 odd years, and I enjoy it. I like doing this. I'm a visual person. I admit I am. I like doing this. So, like I said, I hope it'll be something that we're getting all the kinks worked out, okay? Well, I got the green light. Let's see. All right. There we go. Officially, I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. So, the lesson book, it's kind of a hybrid of the lesson book and me, and I tend to the teacher in me just keeps coming out. This is from the book. God reveals himself to his people in many ways, including identifying himself by one of his names. Every one of the lessons has something to do with one of the names for God. Depending, there's just multiple, 18, 20, over 20 in the Bible. Each name concedes certain characteristics about him that help us find comfort in his greatness. That's just a quote from the book. That's not me. And hope amid our trials. All right, we'll begin or end on night, a lesson each night with a look at the name of God chosen for that lesson. This one was called Elohim. And sometimes you'll see characters in the Bible with El on the end. It's shortened version of the name Elohim. This is a Hebrew word. I'll use that because, again, I'm one of these, this is the teacher part of me. It's a Hebrew for deities. It's plural word in grammar, but the Bible uses it as a singular, and I'll explain that, what I'm talking about. First of all, it's used in the Bible for any deities. Usually I'll say the word deity instead of gods. It works either way. So basically, when you look in the Bible, and I'll try to do this, when you see in Exodus chapter 20, you shall have no other gods before me. Literally, if you look at the Hebrew, you shall have no other Elohim before me. Now, there's an ending to that verse, and basically, before me, the New American Standard, which is, most people say, is kind of the gold standard for translations. You shall have no other Elohim before my face. This is what God says, before my face. Another translation says, you shall have no other Elohim side by side with me. Don't try to put any God up there with me. Judges talks about the Philistines gathered together to offer a sacrifice to Dagon, their Elohim. 1 Kings talks about Ashtoreth. This is another with if you think about Israel, above Israel there's Tyre and Sidon. Ashtoreth is their god. This is the one that Jezebel brought back. Elohim of the Sidonians. In 1 Kings, the Moabites that were south of Israel. Chemosh, a lot of child sacrifice and so forth. That was the Elohim of the Moabites. It's just kind of like saying, is it wrong? Okay, let's not say wrong. Do other people say that is their God? Yeah. Now, does that mean that is the God? Nope. Just like the Bible. The Bible says that's their God. That's their Elohim. The Ammonites had one called Milcom. The Elohim of the Ammonites. Now, it's also used for judges in the Bible. Now, first of all, it doesn't mean these men are deities, but it does this. Judges represent God's authority, and they act on God's behalf. So the judges that were put there, there's a particular reason, and they represent authority that God gives to them. Now, you remember the servant that wanted to stay with his master and have his ear pierced? Pierce my ear, O Lord. And they talk about he would have his ear pierced and he would stay a servant because after so many years, they paid off their indebtedness and you could leave. They didn't want to leave. They liked being taken care of and so forth. This is kind of one of those where if you don't know what it says, it sounds really unusual. Exodus chapter 21, it says, then shall his master bring his master to the Elohim. Now, then the master pierced his ear. Now, if you go to a good version, his master shall bring him to God. Now, if you read a verse that says they're going to bring this guy to God, what God are you talking about? God, right? Now, this is a version called the Amplified. Then his master shall bring him to God, that is, to the judges who act in God's name. So in this situation, this word Elohim, it's not talking about God up there. It's talking about judges. Now, both of them deal with legal issues between people that need to be settled by the judges. Now, the master of the house, these are verse 8 and 9, the master of the house shall come near unto God. The next verse says that these people had problems. They were butting heads with each other. Both parties shall come before God. Now again, I'm talking to me. If you're in on it, that's fine. If I had read that before, to be honest with you, I would have thought they're coming near unto God. Both parties shall come to God. Literally what this is talking about, the master of the house shall come near unto Elohim. Both parties shall come before Elohim, unto the judges. So again, you've got pagan gods and you've got judges. Now, again, we're back to, it's a Hebrew word for deities. It's a Hebrew word for judges. The Bible uses it in a special way. And when I put these in quotations, this is a quote that I read in a lesson. It's like, yeah, I like what you said. It's one specific God out of many. So, I mean, if you talk about how many gods are in the world, well, you can go to Hindu. They've got thousands. Some say that they've got literally millions of gods. I mean, I taught world history. They will say they have 2-3 million gods. There's a bunch of them out there. But when we go to the Bible, we're not talking about all of those deities. We're talking about one specific God. The God who is more powerful than all the many other deities. Now, I taught grammar a little bit. Hebrew grammar allows for this to literally mean he is the power over all these other powers. He is you remember people used to say, he is the man. Now, there's a bunch of man, but he is the man. Now, this you see a whole lot. Elohim is God's first name used in the Bible. This is literally, you will see this a lot. Now, before God is talked about being a loving father and gentle and full of grace, this word means strong one, great and powerful, revered. Psalm 77. This is in the easy read version. This is a version that Brother Gann, go to church with him up at Rogersville. It was made for the deaf. It's a real good version that explains things and it makes it in a real clear fashion. He has a friend of his that I think translated Mark, one of the Gospels. It's a good version if you want something that's real nice and clear. And I'm not trying to peddle it. I'm just trying to say this is where it comes from. God, the water saw you and became afraid. The deep water shook with fear. But if you go to the Hebrew, this is what it is. There's a thing that I use, and this is what the words are in Hebrew. The water saw you, Elohim, and when the water saw you, Elohim, they were afraid. The depths trembled when they saw you, Elohim. So this is this word Elohim. Strong, it's a strong one, the great and powerful, the creator. Literally, this is the creator of everything. Elohim that made something out of nothing, order out of chaos. So this is lesson 1, God our creator, as Dr. Rushing was talking about. I kind of tried to go with the book. The book kind of bounced around, and I'm not being that be critical because I kind of bounce around too, but they kind of bounced around and they talked about being a control freak. Now, this was a quote in the book. I'm not going to say whether you buy this one or not. Most of us consider ourselves a control freak. Now, you may or may not consider yourself a control freak. There's some that do. A control freak tries to control every situation. Okay. I like the lady on the left. I'm not a control freak. I just like to have my own way. I'm not bossy. I just know what you should be doing. I like the guy on the right. You know, the little girl's playing with the doll and the one on the right's controlling it. As long as everything's exactly the way I want it, I'm totally flexible. You may know people like that. Some people know those people and they look in the mirror at them. My world would be so much better if everyone did what I said and let me make all of their decisions for them. Got to follow me here. Knock, knock. Who's there? Control freak. It interrupts him and says, you should say control freak. Who? Now, there are lots of people that do this. Can I show you the right way to do something? Now, the book says this little sentence. If you ever wonder where in your life you have control freak tendencies, look no further than your car. Then, they talk about retro, folks like me, and then they'll talk about modern things. Now, they talk about maps. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I liked this little thing because it looked like my dad driving down the road. And he'd get the road, he'd hit the map, and he'd be looking at it. I mean, while you're going down the road at, 60, 70 miles an hour, whatever it is. Now, this is every time you went somewhere, you got a road map. I don't know about y'all, but I remember when I was a kid, every time, wherever you went, if they offered a map, we put it in there. And we would have in the trunk a box of maps. If we were going somewhere, he would get in that box and look for a map of that place. Now, maps are, that's how I grew up on, and looking at maps. Now, or an atlas. We had an atlas always in the car. And when my kids were little, we had an atlas always in the car. Now, they would tell you nothing about the construction that was ahead. Now, if you go anywhere in the summertime, especially if you go north, you're going to get construction, which is really aggravating. Or if you go down there by Shoals Creek now, or detours. Now, nowadays you know where the detour goes. Back then you didn't know where the detour went. It just says turn here on a detour. You ever turn down this road that's kind of furry and it doesn't look very good, and you're supposed to follow this and it'll come out to where you need to go? Well, sometimes this is where you end up. You literally end up in the middle of nowhere. Now, then you have to try to figure out where you're going to go. So this is one of those things that the way it used to be. Now, you could ask for directions. You might get lucky. You might get somebody who's helpful, who's knowledgeable, who can help you out. You might not get lucky. That's generally the people that I would ask. There'd be 2 of them, and they'd be pointing in different directions and had no clue that's the way it was. Got to read this one. You were here, now you're lost. Now that's kind of how I was. Then they get all modern about car travel today. GPS, Global Positioning System. It's in your phone. It's in all sorts of different ways. Now, by the way, I'm a history teacher. This lady right here is Dr. Gladys West. She went to Virginia State University, to HBCU, graduated as a valedictorian, and was hired by the U.S. Navy. Now, she worked, got her master's at Oklahoma, went back and worked for NASA for 42 years. If you look on the left, she literally invented GPS. Oh, and by the way, she retired and got her PhD at 68. I retired and I didn't get a PhD. So, sorry. Now, this is from the book. It virtually guarantees, there's a word in here, you need to look at this. See the virtually? Now, is that a guarantee? It virtually guarantees you won't need a horrendously refolded map. Don't hold your hand up. Did you have trouble refolding those big maps where they all fit in that little tiny little? Well, that's what they're talking about. It won't fit in the glove box anymore. And it virtually guarantees you won't get lost. There's that word again. Virtually means nearly guaranteed, practically guaranteed, almost entirely guaranteed. Did you notice that's not, however, GPS can fail and you can get lost. Now, let me give you an example. This is true. 3 tourists are looking for a hotel. This is in the States. It's past midnight and they don't know where the place is. So, are they scared? No, they're not scared. They've got a GPS. That'll tell them where to go. That'll tell them the roads. No problem. They got it. Now, just follow the directions. Well, that's what happens. They were supposed to turn right onto this unmarked side road. It's that one right there. So they turn onto the road and they trusted their GPS and they start driving down the road till they have a slight problem. Suddenly, the road ends and they literally drove off in the water. They had guided them onto a pier and they drove off the end of the pier. Now, the people were okay. The van was not okay. Now, no one was hurt, but you can find where GPS will just tell you the wrong thing. It's not supposed to do that. Well, that's where virtually comes in. Okay, for example, oh, I love this one. This is how you get to the Fairbanks, Alaska airport. Now, do you see how it looks? There it is, the little red thing. Do you see how it seems to be totally out of the way? Okay, the iPhone's GPS, I put thought in quotation marks because I don't really know what little GPS has in its mind sometimes. So in its little mind, it's figured a better, more direct path to the airport. And it goes straight there. Now that looks much better than that. You agree? So this is the way. It's better. It's more direct. Isn't that just much better? There is a slight problem. Oh, a slight problem. See their direct path? Well, that much better, more direct path went across the runway and the taxiways of the airport. That is the runway where the planes take off and land. And they sent people across the runway and the taxiway. Now, obviously, airports don't do this because they got big signs that say, do not enter, danger, do not enter, the whole 9 yards. But now, you've heard the people that the GPS said turn right and they turned right across a field or into a pond or whatever, you know. These are the people that it says to go this way, I'm going to go this way. And they did. And several cars literally drove out on the runway. No planes landed on them, but they literally went across the runway. Now, I could just imagine the person in the tower looking and saying there's a car on the taxiway. There's a car on the runway. Now, nobody was hurt. They made a fix, and they made sure that no idiot even passed the signs. But mistakes can be made. Listen, be careful of who and what you're being guided by in life. Now, G.I. Joe if you know computers, I don't know computers, but I know a little bit about them. You know what this means. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Now, this is literally what it's talking about. If you put garbage in your computer, that's what you get out. You put garbage information in, that's what you get out. So basically, this is what it's referring to. It works in people too. It works in us. Humans have 2 ears. Garbage goes in one ear and out the other ear. That's the plan. That's what it's supposed to do. Or, unfortunately, sometimes it comes out the other opening there. And we say garbage. We say garbage. Now, to be honest, that garbage that comes out of the mouth impacts a whole lot more people than the thoughts in our head. Because if you've got something in your head, it's harmful to you. But sometimes when we're sharing and saying it to other people, it can lead people astray. So, I mean, that's not a good thing. Okay, thankfully, your brain is supposed to act like a filter. Now, it's supposed to. Now, like an air filter. Okay, the dirty stuff is supposed to be caught by the filter, and the clean stuff's supposed to come out. It's supposed to work that way. Now, this filter for us is a brain. And between our ears, it filters out and supposed to keep the good stuff. Now, that's why I put the little brain up there, all the little good stuff you're supposed to hang on to. What do you do with all the stuff that's not good? You get rid of it. You get rid of it. Now, hopefully if you get rid of it, it won't come out that other opening. And the stuff that comes out will be good and positive and kind and nice and loving and all those good things. 1 Thessalonians says, so we can encourage one another and build each other up. It's supposed to be a positive. I heard this a long time ago. Do people feel better when you walk in the room, or do people feel better when you walk out of the room? And we know people both ways. Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8, think about what's true. Think about what's honorable and right and pure and beautiful and respected. Think about those things. Dwell on those things. Now, there's lots of things you can think about. I found this little picture. Do we tend to do this? Do we tend to focus on the bad and not think about the good? Now, this little thing says, look, brain, there's lots of good stuff. Not now. Can't you see I'm busy looking at the bad? And that's what we do sometimes. We just focus. And sometimes we obsess on the bad stuff. What about the ugly, false things that are not worthy of our attention? Is there stuff that we just don't need to be looking at it? Yep, it is. Now, what do you do with those things? Flush them. Get rid of them. Don't think about them. Now, if you see things that aren't good, there's a story that talks about a learned teacher, and he had his student with him. And basically they got to a river, and there was a lady, and she couldn't get across. And the teacher, who was supposed to be above, all of these, he's an Oriental teacher, and he carried her across, literally picked her up, carried her across, set her over there, and went on their way. And the student was just, he couldn't believe he picked up a woman and carried her across there. And he says, an hour later, he says, didn't it bother you carrying her around? And he said, are you still thinking about her? Are you still thinking about her? He says, well, yeah. He says, let me tell you what I'm talking about. He says, birds of the air can fly above your head. You can't do anything about it. There are things in life like helping somebody. But he says, if they fly above your head, don't let them make a nest in your hair. Don't let them sit and where you dwell on it and think about it. And this is kind of what it's talking about. Don't dwell on the negative. Don't dwell on the things that are not good. Look, brain, there's a lot of good stuff. And maybe your brain will say, there's a lot of good stuff. because that's what it's talking about. GPS virtually guarantees you won't get lost. Now again, we're back to virtually. Now there's a different lesson in this. Okay. However, you can use GPS and get lost. This is true. You're going to look at this and go, you made this up. And I didn't. There's a lady in Belgium who put in a GPS route from her home to the city of Brussels, the capital. Now, see the little city with the E? Erkaline or something like that. She's about 90 miles or 2 hours away from the capital. So she put in a 2-hour trip. This sounds like Gilligan, doesn't it? Okay, so they're on for a 2-hour trip. 2 days later, 900 plus miles later, she arrives in a country called Croatia, in the capital of Zagreb. Now, this is what it looks like. She's going to go 2 hours and she goes 2 days. She goes across lots of countries. Well, I mean, if you look here, she goes there in the corner and she's in Germany and Austria and Slovenia and Croatia. They said, I think apparently somebody heard in the newspapers, interviewed her and says, I was distracted, so I kept driving. I saw all kinds of traffic signs. In Belgium, 80% of them speak French, so she saw French signs, and then they changed to German. And then they changed to Slovene, then they changed to Croatian. What'd she do? She just kept driving. Now, but I kept on driving. Suddenly, notice that word, suddenly, 2 days later, suddenly I appeared in Zagreb. Now, remember that's 2 days of driving and 900 miles later. Suddenly I appeared in Zagreb. And it's got, whoa, look where I'm at. I realized the GPS had led me astray. Now, just between you and me, I'm not sure she's blaming the right person or the right thing, AI or whatever. Truth is, she didn't pay attention to the GPS. Now, let's look at a lesson to learn here. I'm a teacher nerd, and this thing, you can draw a circle, a distance around a particular latitude and longitude. I got Jacksonburg's latitude and longitude. They do a circle from the building. All right, start there at the building and go 900 miles, and this is where you're going to go. Now, from Brussels to Zagreb to us is like, yeah, right, like I know that. Look at this. This is Bridgeport, Connecticut. You're past New York City, Thunder Bay, Ontario. You've gone clear into Canada, Aberdeen, South Dakota, Clovis, New Mexico, Matamoros, Mexico, and if you could be in a boat, you'd go right through Havana, Cuba. That's how far she went. Now, it would be hard to think that if you left Jacksonburg to the building, I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to go to Birmingham. And all of a sudden, 48 hours later, you've gone 900 miles, 2 or 3 fuel stops later or more, depending on your vehicle, and suddenly you're in Clovis, New Mexico. Suddenly you're in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Or you're in, can I get where I'm going here? She had simply been too distracted to notice she'd been in the car for 2 days. Now, I don't know about you, but imagine you're in the car straight for 48 hours. It's going to look like my car. I mean, I'm going to be munching and snacking and so forth, and you know, well, you got to put it somewhere. I mean, and she's sitting there going, wow, suddenly I'm in. Was she too distracted to notice? Well, there's a lesson to learn. We need to pay more attention to what we've heard so we don't drift away. We got to pay attention to our spiritual life. We've got to work hard to prove our spiritual credentials, if you want to put it that way. We need to work hard. We need to make sure we don't drift away. We need to make sure that we don't end up in Zagreb, Croatia, instead of where we're headed. We need to pay attention to things. Are they right? Let me give you an example. I was 17-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. I drove to Nashville. My dad wasn't real crazy about it, but I went to Nashville. I came back down I-65, and I got off at the exit at Pulaski to get off on Highway 64. Now, this is what I was going to do. I was going to come across on 64, I guess go to Lawrenceburg, I suppose. I really didn't know what I was doing. And so basically in my little 17-ish mind that wasn't very smart about driving, I was going to go across 64 to Lexington and then go across to 43 and then come down. Except that's down there. Now that's Alabama 64. Up there is US 64. It's not the same road. Now if you look there, that's not the same road. Now in my really advanced geographic mind, that's where I was going to go. Now, to make matters worse, I got off the interstate and headed east. That way. I was on the wrong road heading the wrong direction. Well, I'm driving along and I'm going to stop. Minor Hill will be here for long. Then I'll get to Lexington and Green Hill. And I didn't see Minor Hill or Lexington or Green Hill. And I just drove and drove. And my buddy with me, he was about as bright as me, like a little nightlight bulb. I hadn't heard of any of the towns on 64. I mean, I'm driving along and they're going through those little towns and Waco and all those little towns up there. And it's like I hadn't heard of one of them. So I decided, instead of going for 2 days and 900 miles, like our friend there, I decided to stop and ask for directions. So I stopped in a gas station and I said, "How far to Florence?" The guy looks at me and goes, "I think I've heard of Florence." Now, that's not good. I will have to admit, I knew that that's not good, because if I'm getting closer and closer and closer in Lauderdale County, and the person says, I think I've heard of Florence, they're either not bright as I was, or I was not right. Well, I found out that I was in Fayetteville. Now, I said, so I'll be dumb now. He didn't know where Florence was. I said, "Where's Fayetteville?" He says, "Have you heard of Huntsville?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "It's northeast of Huntsville." That's not good. That's not good. I had to make the phone call. I had to find a phone booth and put in several quarters and explain to my dad that I am in Fayetteville, Tennessee. He wasn't as understanding as I was. Well, I was paying attention. I really was. I was going to cross on 64. I was trying to prove I was going the right way. I was really trying to do the right thing. Now, I was well-intentioned, moron, but I was well-intentioned. I found I wasn't going the right direction, though. And then I found out I wasn't on the right road. Other than the wrong direction and the wrong road, well, I fouled up everything. I went back to the interstate. I decided I was going to skip the whole 64 thing, and then I was going to go down and get on 72 and go across like normal people would have went. This is a guy named Zig Ziglar, and it's something I've used a long time, and I've thought about it. We need a daily checkup from the neck up to avoid stinking thinking, which ultimately leads to hardening of the attitudes. And sometimes we need to check to see where we're at and see if we're on the wrong 64 or if we're going the wrong direction. Hebrews 2 says we need to pay more attention to what we've heard. And sometimes we don't pay attention. And I'm talking me. I don't pay attention. Work hard to prove that you really are among those God has called and chosen. We need to pay more attention so that we don't drift away, so that we don't go to the wrong place, so we don't go the wrong direction. Getting away from God's way and going your own way. And that happens. It happens when we don't pay attention to our spiritual life. It happens when we don't work hard at our spiritual life. It happens when we drift away from the way. when we simply don't pay attention to the GPS. We just kind of don't pay attention to what's going on. All right, let me give you another example. This is a different situation. This is a situation in Germany. If I'm not mistaken, the gentleman was a little bit over 70, and this is not where he's not sure what day of the week it is. He just, like somebody says, you can be young and mean, he's just old and mean. Motors in Germany said his destination is following the path until there's a big road closed sign. Now, what do you do when there's a road closed sign? Well, duh, you go another direction. Not him. He went right through the sign. Literally. Blew through it. Now, he goes a little further, and after he crashes through the sign, there's another sign. Now, surely you've got the message now. Now he went right through the directions. Okay, he crashed through the second set of signs. You know what happened. You know where this is going. He got to another set of signs. So surely by this time, he drives right through the third sign. Okay, he gets to a fourth set. You know what he did. He went right through that one. He goes right through that one and ends up bogged down in this big, huge mud pit construction thing that was put there to keep people from driving into this stupid stuff. Now, there's no excuses for his behavior. There's no excuses. Basically, well, yeah, he got a ride to the police station. He refused to follow the directions. Now, there's a difference in refusing to follow the directions. Okay, lesson learned. This is a really cool thing that, I guess in Ohio, there is a underpass where trucks are a certain height. They are going to hit the bridge. And apparently they don't want them to. So if you see at the bottom left, see where the water comes down? When a truck, they've got a sensor, when a truck passes to where it's kind of a drop dead where they're going to hit the bridge, the water comes on and it puts in a sign, a stop sign that's that big, literally that big. Now, these are last chance signals. If you don't stop, you're going to hit the bridge. Now, if you fail to stop for it, you're going to hit the bridge. Now, Hebrews chapter 10 says, for if we deliberately, just like this guy, if you deliberately blow through a giant stop sign, probably some of us are thinking, well, you deserve it. But if you fail to do this, if you deliberately keep on sinning, there no longer remains any sacrifice. Like these signs, God's given people a chance to stop, given us a chance to stop. If people fail to stop what God says not to do, God will condemn them. I mean, that's the thing. If people refuse to follow the GPS directions will do them absolutely no good. If it says stop, road closed, and you blow through it, duh. If people refuse to follow God's directions will do them absolutely no good. The lesson was called God or Creator. This is a thing that I did a couple of years ago at church, and I like it because I had not thought about it this way, and it's something that, let me show you. Christmas Eve 1968, I had just turned 13 years old. If you know much about NASA and space and so forth, the crew of Apollo 8 were the first humans to leave Earth, to get away from the pull of gravity, to literally get outside to where there is no gravity. Apollo 8 went 24,593 miles an hour to escape the pull of gravity. Got to whip around here and there, left. Now, that's the nerd in me. I put the speed. Now, basically, when it got out going to the moon, it slowed down to it's only going 2,225 miles an hour to go into orbit around the moon. So it's going around the moon. Now, this is what they did. If you see, number one there, you get into orbit, you go around and around, get a little momentum, and then you head to the moon. You get there, and you slow down, and you get in orbit around the moon, and then you come back. Now, it takes about 3 days to get to the moon. If you're of older vintage like I am, you remember I remember watching the people get on the moon. That we were on vacation, a little park up in Tennessee, and they had a little black and white TV, which is pretty much everybody's TV. It was a little black and white TV, and we gathered around and watched the guy bounce down the little thing. Small step for man. This is the lead up to that. Apollo 8 orbits the moon 10 times, and then it goes back to Earth. Now, this was a big deal. This is a big deal. They were Men of the Year for Time magazine when it was a big deal. The astronauts, Anderson, Borman, and Lovell. That's Newsweek. Astronauts speed toward the moon in the orbit as Apollo leaves the Earth. This is the first thing that has ever gone away from 100 miles, 125 miles from Earth. It's a big deal. Spacemen out of this world. I remember when I was a kid, things, the networks would show when they would take off, the spacecraft. Apollo 8 streaks for the moon. Lunar orbit slated for Christmas. Note that. Christmas. 3 men fly around the moon only 70 miles from the surface. They fire the rocket and head for Earth. The moon is orbited. Now, notice the Christmas thing here. Christmas Eve orbit around the moon. Now, they send pictures of Earth. For the first time, you could see the entire Earth. A really famous picture, if you've probably seen this, called Earthrise. They went around and they saw the Earth rise, and you could see the whole thing. Because we can only see bits and pieces, even from space. Alan Shepard and all those guys. And for the first time, you could see the far side of the moon. If you're not into moon stuff like I'm not, moon doesn't do this little number. It always sees the same side. And the other side, the dark side of the moon, is always the same. And this is the first time you could see the dark side of the moon. The first time humans. And that's the one that's always on the side. They took pictures. Human eyes had never seen that. Now, this was cool. I'm sorry, I taught 6th grade. Cool is a word I work with. They planned to broadcast from Apollo 8 as it circled the moon. And they told these guys, you need to make a broadcast for all mankind. 1/3 of the people on Earth watched or listened to this broadcast. I did. Christmas Eve. I remember it. I don't remember much. I remember this. The Earth's population in 1968 was 3.5 billion people. They're estimating over 1 billion people are going to be watching or listening. This is their instruction. Say something appropriate. This is historic. This is big. This is to 1 billion people. You got 1 billion people listening. What do you say? I love this little story here. A NASA advisor called a friend and his wife for advice. The friend's wife says, why don't you begin at the beginning? The 3 astronauts all agreed. The message was typed on fireproof paper and inserted into the Apollo 8 flight plan. There's the little capsule. It's not very big. They spent several days in it. At 8:30 on Christmas Eve night, the crew began their broadcast from the moon. Now, I remember there's a picture, and they took the camera, and from almost 250,000 miles away, the moon's surface was traveling underneath the picture. And you're looking at the moon from 70 miles away, up close. This is, whoa. For all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 have a message that we would like to send to you. And as 1 billion people tuned in, this is the view that they watched. They literally looked at that. Recognize that guy? I mean, people all over the country. This probably looked like me and my brother. Now, the only thing, if you could say, is the moon's surface going underneath that picture. And as over 1 billion people listened, this is the message that the crew of Apollo 8 read. Now, what I want you to do, give me about 2 seconds here. I want you to hear it, last 2 minutes. And I want you to hear this. I'm going to just hold it up here where you can hear it. And I want you to look at that and just pretend you're sitting there, Christmas tree. And this is what, you don't know what's going to happen. You may have forgotten it. You may know it. But I want you to listen to this. Second astronaut.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning was the second day.
Third astronaut.
God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of
Listen to what he says.
we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on this good earth.
All of you on this good earth. It was a special moment in history. It was a special moment in my life. I still remember it. And I still remember him going, all of you on the good earth. This is what they read from. They wrote the verses from Genesis 1. They divided them up. They described what they saw on the mission. They said it was vast and lonely and a forbidding sight. You saw some of the pictures of the moon. This is what they saw. You could go, wow, that's amazing, but I wouldn't want to live there. Not a very inviting place to live. However, when they look back at the earth, this is what Jim Lovell said, the vast loneliness up here of the moon is awe-inspiring. And it makes you realize just what you have back on earth. A grand oasis in the big vastness of space. You know, sometimes we take it for granted how beautiful the creation is. And I'm talking about me. And we just take it for granted when we see things. This is what he said at the very end, if you didn't catch it, because he was coming 240,000 miles. It was pretty good reception for 240,000 miles. Good night, good luck, Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you. all of you on the good earth. The astronauts examined what they call a vast, lonely place. New York Times, they read from Genesis. That's where they decided, start from the beginning. In the beginning, God. May 5th, 1969. That was a stamp they released. It was the most spectacular Bible reading in history. I have to agree with that. The voices of the astronauts echoed across the black ocean of space from over 240,000 miles away. At the moment of the most dazzling exploration and technological triumph in human history. This was a big deal. If you've seen the Saturn V that they have at the Tennessee line, or they've got over at the space camp, it's an unbelievably huge, complicated thing. And they put people, this first time, 250,000 miles away, and they sent them there. And in the middle of this huge thing, I put this here because, all right, it cost $310 million, which is a lot of, but look at what it would have cost now. That's a bunch of zeros, isn't it? This is the guy who was on one of the missions. He began to read from the message the astronauts had agreed to before. Each would read a section from Genesis 1. And if you look, that's the 3 astronauts. And that's the sections that they marked. And I assume they handed it back and forth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. They had seen the far side of the moon that no human had ever seen. They had seen this darkness. They had seen it. I mean, it's dark. They had seen that darkness. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. They had seen the earth come over the horizon above this dark, lifeless moon. And they saw this round shape full of life. And all that stuff they were looking at was lifeless, and what they saw was our home, full of light. And it said in the verses, and God saw that it was good. Psalm 8 says, when I look up in the night sky and see the work of your fingers, I see the moon and the stars you created. How majestic is your name in all the earth. It's a pretty good lesson, and it's a pretty good way to conclude tonight. It's talking about the creation. I didn't know how long to prepare for. I prepared for about 45, 50 minutes, and we're there. I'm not going to try to, y'all are big people. Y'all can, they say we're supposed to go over to the annex. We call it annex at church. I'm sorry. The other building. And we're supposed to meet over there. And they're going to have skits and stuff. You're supposed to go over there. So if you want, that's right. That's right. Yes. But I was just going to say I appreciate you listening. Lord willing, we'll be there tomorrow. And again, I love what I do, and I'm hoping that we had some thoughts that made you think. And appreciate it, and you're dismissed.